Call Haloyim Yahweh Bahasham Hamashiach Yahushai Bahasham Racha Kwadash Barakatham. Shalom. This is your fellow servant Tazawar here with another lesson. First, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone whom rule well and from whom we learn this truth. Shalom to Yakim. Around the world, pushing likewise doctrine in spirit and in truth with all sincerity. To you few sisters that are listening and learning, as well as you speckled birds who are scattered among the nations, looking like those nations. To the 144,000 elect men, and to the rest of the hopeful elect. To you I say, Shalom. You know, this is a reminder of the times that we're living in, right? And in the news, it's been a lot of coverage of violent events taking place in the earth. You know, starting from the stuff that's going on in the Near East, as they say, you know, with the Israelis and Qatar. You know, they got some static over there. But then here on American soil, you have coverage of a lot of violence, man. And you know, listen, our elders and apostles, starting from the elder apostle on down, the elder apostle to heart on down, right? As well as the apostles, elder apostle Gabar and the bishops, all right. We have been saying for a long time that it's gonna get bloody over here. There's gonna be sedition and violence in the land, right? And we've seen that with you know, like a week ago, a couple weeks ago, you had that Minnesota shooting on that Catholic school campus, right? While they was in mass or whatever, and young kids got shot, 2 dead, 17 wounded. I don't know if y'all recall that. Then you had this Israeli girl that got jugged on the train, right? Bled out on the train. Then you got in more recent news, this Elder Benata Zakba did a lesson on this middle-aged Edomite woman that got stabbed on I think it was Auburn or Arbery or something like that, a college campus, right? By a Jake, though. You know, she got jugged. She got poked. You know, and then yesterday you had this Charlie Kirk guy. Ask Charlie, this guy who was going around debating on college campuses. He got popped at on a college campus as well. I believe it was in Utah, of all places. When people think of violence, they don't really think of Utah like that. But this guy was a, right-wing conservative. Had many talking points. In my opinion, he was a covert, prejudice, racist kind of guy, because he didn't want to acknowledge the systematic oppression of the Israelites in this country, man. And that's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Right? But he was what you call a patriot. And proud to be an American, he was. Right? Well, hey. That Second Amendment, man, that's one of the things that this country was founded on. But there has been some, hey, and this was in public. As I said, at a school, a university in Utah. But anyway, I don't want to ramble. It's been a minute since I've been on here, so Salakia for that. I've had my own challenges as of late. I'll do a video on that as well. But let's go to the book of Second Ezra, chapter 5. Let's start at verse 1. Okay. Nonetheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. All right. And that's another thing we see, because this guy, claimed to be Christian. All right. And, he probably was. I'm sure he was a Christian, but, hey, nobody acknowledges in that faith the bloody, the trail of blood, the bloody, tracks of Christianity, man, that Christianity has left in its wake. All right. For the sake of Western, for the sake of Western ideology and colonialism. All right. And traditional Christian ideology and dogma. Nobody talks about that. And because of that, we've seen a large exodus from the Christian church, among other reasons, but it ain't what it used to be. And we understand that, this truth of ours, this is the only real faith, the only true faith. All right. Honestly, because people think that we're crazy. We've been telling you all about this, but reading on, let me start back at the middle. It says, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number. And we've seen a lot of death, a lot of blood, a lot of violence. And the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. But what? But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. Right? iniquity shall be increased. And we see that. All right, we see that because this guy, whether he outright says it or not, this guy was in for the Zionists as well. All right, he was cool with it, with what they doing over there in the Middle East. He was cool, the so-called Middle East. All right, he's cool with the activities of the 1948ers, man, and this guy Benjamin Netanyahu. All right, I'm gonna read verse 2 again. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. And we heard of all the wickedness, man, from, when we go into the scripts and crack them open, we hear about child sacrifice and bowing and praying to idols like Molech and all those different heathen deities, man, and how people was getting down. We remember the scriptures told us, about the times of Noah. And they tell us that in the last days, it's going to be like in the days of Noah, man. All right. And we see that because it's filth all around the world, but especially here in Babylon the Great, a.k.a. the whore that sits on many waters, the whore that sits on the beast, man. All right. Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America, man. Land of the free, home of the brave. All right. Lady Liberty. Pure wickedness goes on over here. All right. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. Now from here, let's get Matthew, the 24th chapter, and let's start at let's start at verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, which we see happening, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, right? Because we've already brought all these things out, the man-made famines and all these other things, right? We talked about that since 2021, 2020. All right. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Right. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Right. So let me grab this Matthew 24 and verse 9. Let me get this word kill. Let me get the root word. The root word is apo, right? Apo, which is G 574, right? Of separation, of local separation. All right. After verbs of motion from a place, i.e. of departing or fleeing. Separation of a part from the whole. Listen, and because of this movement, man, people definitely make a difference between those of the faith, all right? Those who know and profess themselves to be Israelites, Hebrew Israelites, hey, we are being, people separate themselves from us, man. Our family, all right? Your employees, or co-workers, rather, your co-workers, if they find out your face, they look at you all sideways and shit, and even some of your friends that you've had for a while, they put a distance between you. And so really the only people that you can really rock with like that you vibe with, that you can really be close with, are people of the faith, man. People of the same mind. Verse 9 again. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And even the people of our own kindred, man, those non-believers, they don't get down with us like that. They definitely want to be on the side of Esau, Edom. Like, oh, we don't agree with their ideology, and we've seen that in past months. Everybody attacking the Israelites, man. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And this is the point. This is the link from 2nd Ezra chapter 5. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right? Let's go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 2. And it says, but iniquity shall be increased above that which thou now seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. So when we jump back over here, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And we see that, right? We see that. Hey, the last 2 weeks has been proof of that. Because like I say, only thing been in the news is violence. And you don't even got to watch the news. You can't even get away from it because it's on social media. And even if you ain't on social media, people at the job talking about it. That's how I found out about Charlie Kirk. Oh, you didn't hear about this? I'm like, nah, who? Oh, ask Charlie guy? That guy? Yeah, man, So, verse 13, but he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. Right? Because the scriptures say, roughly paraphrased, like 1,000 gonna fall out of our left, 10,000 on our right side, I believe. But it shall not come nigh you. It shall not come by us, man. So death and pestilence and all that, it's gonna be all around us. But the Lord's gonna preserve his elect. But here's the other point. Like I said, because let me read it one more again. Hold on. And then I want to get this Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, right? Chapter 39. All right, let me read number 12, verse 12 again. This is Matthew 24 and 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right? Now, I believe when you go into that word cold, let me see. Yeah, when you go into that word shall wax cold, it's psycho, man. You see that? G5594, psycho. To breathe, blow, cold by blowing, right? Right here, verse 3, or bullet point number 3. Let's read number 2. To be made or grow cool or cold. Metaphor of waning love. Waning means to decrease. Right? Like you got your waxing moon and your waning moon. The waning goes down, it decreases. Right? Psycho, man. Now, this is Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 39. And let's just cut to the chase. 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. And who made the spirits of vengeance? The scriptures call Yahweh the father of spirits, man. The father of spirits. So he made good and bad, hot and cold. Right? He made what's the word I'm looking for? Those that contain empathy and those that are psycho. He made empaths and psychos. All right, let me get one more. 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, and verse, probably like around the 10th verse. 9. Verse 14. Yeah, that was Menachdazab. I pulled this earlier. 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. You see that? The course of their action shall stand in their power. So whatever they had the power, the might in their hand to do, that's what they're going to do. That's in layman's terms, in plain terms, that's called the law of the jungle. Right? The strong survive. That's what that is. All right. You know, you can read on down on that one. We pull this one a lot. But this is just a reminder of the times. All right. So stay circumspect and be vigilant. You know, may Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai place a hedge around the elect and his anointed, man, and the body of believers. May the Lord, bless and keep you. Until then, I pray this lesson was edifying. I pray that it finds you well. Until next time, Shalom. Wa Abad Babal.